So we're going to talk about how creators and brands are turning clips into distribution, advertising, reach, revenue, and all of that. And we have an amazing panel that's going to come up here and talk about it. First up, our moderator is Sachin Kumar, who's product marketing from OpusClip. So Sachin's going to lead our panel, our session. We have the co-hosts of the Iced Coffee Hour. That would be Graham, Stephan, and Jack Selby. And they will be joined by Sanjay Jenkins, the co-founder and CMO of Replo. So, you guys, come on stage, talk to us about the age of clipping, give it up for them, and I want to see you all clipping this session up on every social channel that you have. Make some clips for us. Have some fun, guys. Enjoy.
Man, we are so pumped to have this conversation. I think a lot of the reason as to why we're super pumped to have this conversation is because we are currently right now at this inflection point between content and distribution. You know, social distribution, as these guys can attest to, has never been at an all-time high. Like recently you had the Oscars being streamed on YouTube for the first time ever in history. You have companies like Netflix and Tubi signing deals with some of the largest creators on the planet like Jordan Matter and Alan Chicken Chow. And right now you have Fox News as the #1 consumed news app right now on YouTube because of short form clipping. And by the way, this all happened in the last 6 months. Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? It's pretty insane, right? And we're going to take it a step further with you guys on this talk. We're going to talk a little bit more about how you can use short form content and clipping as a means for distribution. We're going to dive right into the economics of sort of how all this operates and how it works. And then last but not least, we're going to give you guys something actionable to take home today that you can implement within your brand and or company. Thank you. I love this guy right here. There it is, man. Without further ado, guys, we would love to get into some intros, man, and introduce the lovely panel here. I say let's go around the horn and to give your name and kind of what you do.
Yeah, my name is Sanjay Jenkins. I'm the CMO of a company called Replo. We started off as like a landing page solution. Now we're kind of like a agentic commerce platform. So you want to sell stuff on the internet, you give us what you sell, we build everything else for you. So that's what we do. And clipping honestly transformed our company, like 2x revenue in the last 6 months just from it. So big fan of clipping.
That's what's up.
Cool. Hey guys, my name's Graham, co-host of the Iced Coffee Hour with Jack. I got a personal finance channel, and I've been getting really into clipping over the last probably 2 to 3 years, give or take. It's been massive for us. It's driven a lot of traffic back to our long form episodes.
How's it going? I'm Jack, and I co-host the Iced Coffee Hour with Graham right here. And on the show, we have guests, and we ask them hard-hitting questions, and then we clip it up, and we try to get as many views as we can. So that's it.
If you don't know, clipping just refers to taking a long-form piece of content, chopping it up into small segments, and then distributing it across short-form platforms. And it originally sort of became super popular within the creator economy, and then now over time has sort of surfaced to brands and companies. But Graham and Jack, obviously you guys are traditional YouTubers, right? Being on the platform for, well, Graham, almost a decade, probably a little over that right now.
10 years on December 26th.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Veteran, man.
Yeah.
I guess like, you know, seeing sort of the rise of the clipping economy now, what has changed in your opinion from where YouTube once was to where it is now from a social distribution standpoint? What does the content look like?
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot more punchier now. And it seems like attention spans are just going down the drain. And so if you could just share the message in 20 to 50 seconds, you get way more distribution, way more attention. And then a portion of those people are going to find that content really interesting and then see what else you have. And especially once they go down the rabbit hole of clips, like we'll have a series of clips that we'll play on. So if we have one clip really take off, we'll do another one that's similar to that and another one. And by the time they've seen maybe 10 or 20 of them, now they're interested in what we have to say and they'll watch the long form.
And Jack, what about you? What has been your opinion about this whole clip?
Yeah, I would probably echo the same thing that Graham just said. One thing that we have benefited a lot from the use of clips would be subscriber growth, which is kind of odd because at least in the past couple of years, subscriber growth has not been an important metric that people really care about because the home feed is so good that you just log on there and then all the videos that you actually want to see will be there. No one checks subscription feeds anymore. Very few people even have notifications on. But for shorts, it's great because you can grow a ton of subscribers And oddly enough, that has a lot of appeal to brands. So if you're trying to sell brand integrations and appeal to brands, having a higher subscriber count actually helps a ton with that. And shorts have been a huge converter to just higher subscriber amounts.
It's so interesting you mentioned that, because oftentimes what we'll see, like, we'll get a lot of like rebuttal of like how, if you have a long form channel and you post shorts, that it somehow cannibalizes your long form views. But then we've also seen the opposite. So like, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Is there any like particular tactics that you use like within like your shorts like content to like funnel it back to the long form?
Yeah, so I thought the same thing initially. I was really against shorts for a long time because I thought that it would somehow affect the algorithm, or like your average viewership would go down, or that YouTube might see like different audiences and not recommend one over the other. But we started testing it and we realized that that's not the case whatsoever. And if anything, it's really helped the long form.
And also in our own experiments and studies, we found when we were just getting into shorts, we had this one short that was popping off on TikTok, and we wanted to see how well it would convert to higher view counts from the original media on YouTube. So it's cross platforms. We were getting 100,000 views every single hour on TikTok, and we were converting an additional 20 views per hour on the YouTube video. And so it didn't convert at all. However, when that short was posted on YouTube, actually viewers go natively within the same platform, and it was converting like crazy to the YouTube video. And what's also incredible is if you post a video and then 3 years goes by, you can actually redistribute that video in the present moment, and then it'll funnel a bunch of views back to the original media, even if it was years ago. If the video is completely dead, you could just better distribute the video with shorts, with clips, and then it will pick the video right back up.
Yeah, we noticed that dead episodes will all of a sudden start getting recommended again, and you just see the YouTube spike where all of a sudden the views are flat, and then you just see just like this curve upwards. It's crazy.
Wow, that's so interesting. Like, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because like, a lot of the people that even we work with, right, we see like, for example, the Diary of a CEO, right, they clip on their clipping account, and they've actually grown their clipping account to 2 million subscribers. And they talk a lot about how two things have sort of like the reason as to why they clip, right? One was experimentation of content, where they don't want to like dilute their like main feed. And the other one was actually trying to create almost like another satellite to bring people in, right, to their content. What is like your clipping strategy? I know you guys are super deep into clipping, so I want to kind of get as much as you could say, like, what is like the peek under the hood?
So I would distill it down in the simplest of terms. There are 3 main communities of people that watch content online. It's people that really only watch vertical content. It's people that only really watch medium form content. So like horizontal videos that are 8 to 12 minutes. And then there are people that really only enjoy long form podcasting. They're in the gym. They're going for their daily commute to work and back, and they have an hour and a half in their car. So they watch podcasts or long form content. If you are not checking all 3 of those boxes, you're completely missing out on a community of people that want to watch your content. It just doesn't fit the context of their life with how they consume media. And so we make sure we check all 3 of those boxes. And it really makes sense for us because we create a 2-hour piece of content. And from that, it's really easy to clip down. So we can easily make 12-minute, 15-minute clips. And then also the vertical content we could post on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. It's harder for people that are making mid-form to go up to the 2 hours. But I actually just had a phenomenal conversation with a very large YouTuber recently who makes 20-minute videos on YouTube. And he said that he's actually making a highlight/compilation video where he's just adding up, because it was sort of a part of a series, adding up every single video and posting it as a 2-hour-long video. And it's attracting a whole new audience that just wants to put it on the TV while they're hanging out at family dinner or whatever it is. And they just want it kind of playing in the background. Kind of like the ridiculousness thing that everyone talks about. It's like everyone likes having ridiculousness just always on their TV. Yeah. If you don't have something that can check that box, it's so easy because the media already exists. So you're just taking something that exists and repackaging it for people that wouldn't watch your content otherwise.
It's a really unique way of like kind of like reviving the content again, right? And juicing it for what it's worth. And at Sanjay, like, obviously you on the brand side, right? Like hearing sort of the creator playbook of like how, creators are like experimenting with clipping and like using it, right, to funnel in like new audiences. On the brand side, are you guys thinking of like similar things? Like what exactly have you implemented with clipping?
I mean, I think if you want to be competitive now, you have to adopt the creator playbook, regardless. Like I sell B2B SaaS. I get it. Like it's B2B SaaS. But we have to use the creator playbook to grow. At the end of the day, your consumers are people. They're consuming content the same way that you would your personal stuff. So if you're making content that is related to your vertical in a way that they consume, you're meeting them where they are. That's the whole point. So, and we started, I do like a long form video, usually like an hour long podcast style. And then we clip it down, to like 60 seconds. That's usually like our sweet spot. We have a second clipping channel that we had content for years that really did not get any sort of traction. Started getting the clips from the second channel. Now we get like more into it. I think a big thing too is like this playlist, like giving people something that they can go binge and consume. There's like one topic you want to go deep on. That has been really huge in driving also like the education that we need to do. And then honestly for us, like signups.
So like talk to me a little bit about that. Like, so when you say the playlist, do you specifically have like a playlist of clips that people can just kind of go through? And is it on all platforms or just YouTube particularly?
Right now, just YouTube, cause we're still really new to it. But it's going to be like, oh, this is everything that we're going to talk about, how to do media buying. This is everything you want to do for like funnel conversions or like optimization or whatever, right? So we do it topic based, but yeah, we're building out these playlists in YouTube.
Got it. And then how important it is for you guys to have like, so I know like a lot of people, right? Like people like Zach Justice, for example, like have multiple clipping accounts instead of just like one big clipping account. Do you guys use like strategies like this where you distribute across like multiple platforms or multiple accounts, or is it mostly just like the one?
Oh yeah, I got a little crazy with like spinning up, accounts. We've got like 30, I think, like little satellite accounts that are topic based. So, something just about ads, something just about, website design, these sorts of things, but we are pumping them out in as many touch points as possible.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly something we could be better at, is owning a lot more of the accounts, but we have this thing where just people take our clips. And so they'll just see our episode and be like, oh, I could make money off that. And so they'll do the clipping for us, which gives us more reach at the end of the day. And then they're incentivized because they could grow their page by taking our content, doing their clips.
Unfortunately, I do think I've seen a lot of your clips from like user 5026.
Yeah, there's so many, especially on Twitter lately. People are just taking them and they're racking up millions of views. So as long as they tag us, I just want to be tagged.
As long as they tag you. Do you guys ever go after those guys, or like is it mostly just kind of?
No, it's a losing battle.
Yeah.
You're punching down at that point, which is never a good look. So you don't want to go after them. Plus, at the end of the day, they're still giving you exposure.
Right.
We've been running into issues where people are finding our content before it gets posted publicly. It's kind of because we have a membership, so we post early. People subscribe there because we think they want to see the content early. They just want to redistribute it out. And then they get the views, they post it. It's this whole thing. We're figuring out as we talk.
There's a whole side economy here. They sign up for memberships.
Yeah.
And it's a great price.
Here, stop giving them the idea, actually. You're giving them the idea. They're going to sign up for OpusClip and do it.
Are you guys paying clippers at all?
No. We don't pay clippers. And not to just like aimlessly plug here, but like that's why we're here with OpusClip, is for that exact reason. I think that the way you win on social media, at least right now, is to overproduce, because everybody is competing with streamers. Streamers are live for 16 hours sometimes per day. The amount of content that you can get out of 16 hours, if you just you could make probably 2,000 30-second clips from 16 hours of content. And they have all these accounts that they own that are posting it everywhere. And let's say if they're posting 500 pieces of content per day and each piece of content is getting a measly like 2,000 views, they're still getting like an absurd amount of views because of the amount of volume they can do. And that's why we're talking with Opus, once again, not to plug, because the amount of volume that they're able to instantly produce has been very helpful for us.
Yeah, I think it's also important to make good content too. If you just make good content, people are going to want to clip it up.
I was going to ask about that, like from the content strategy, right? Because like we hear like clip, but like again, like the root parent piece of content has to be like something that's worth clippable. So when you guys both, right? You mentioned your podcast. When you think of creating your episodes, are you thinking like clipping in mind to have bits that you will integrate?
Yeah, certain things will re-say something in a podcast, and it sounds super weird. I'll be like, Jack, you just said this. Like, you wouldn't say that in a conversation, but in the context of a clip, it's just you want to create like a little hook. So we constantly think about like how we frame a question to be standalone. And then sometimes when the guest is speaking, Jack and I are both thinking like, oh man, that's a good clip. Let me remind myself later. Like, that would be a great clip.
I will often just shout, oh, we got to clip that but it's also structured. Like, I go into every interaction knowing, okay, these are going to be like the 10 pieces that I'm going to get out of an hour long content.
What if something is like almost a clip, do you ever like go backwards and have
yeah.
the guest like say it again?
Yeah. So we'll do that like live within the podcast. From a viewer experience, they would never have any idea, but it's probably every podcast for the most part, on average, at least once per podcast, we will say, hey, can you just re-say this? And then they say it again, usually not great. And then we ask them to say it again. And then after a few takes, it ends up being really good. And in clipping, just that like half a second difference can make all of the impact, whether or not it gets put into the algorithm and just takes off.
Yeah, especially pacing is really important, and then no stuttering. So as good as, just an intro could be, is if they stutter, it kind of ruins that like split second where you just swipe up.
Oh, that is really interesting. I didn't really realize like that, like stutter, like half second could really make or break a clip. I want to take it a step further, guys. Like, like we talked a lot about like clips as a distribution vehicle, but I want to get into like the money and the monetization of kind of how all this like works. When you think of clipping and when you like, obviously like pitching for like sponsorships and brand deals and such, like you're looking at long form viewership, but like are clips funneled into that now? Like clip views, are they funneled into like a cumulative view count when it comes to like brands?
For us, no. For other people, yes. So like I talk to a lot of different podcasters that are more effective at monetizing than we are, and they are able to wrap up their clips in certain packages. We do have a couple packages that we have where we incorporate clips into like some sort of financial ROI, which it's still, I would say, easily a positive financial ROI because there is short form revenue that YouTube will pay you, plus the small amount of like clipping revenue that we get on top of that. Yes, it'll be a positive ROI on vertical content. On horizontal content, which obviously we're getting into semantics here. Like you have clips and you have vertical content. So like we call clips anything that's horizontal between 8 and like 20 minutes. So on those, easiest positive financial ROI imaginable because there's no cost to create the content aside from like a person just to grab it and then upload it to YouTube. And then it's just like immediately in the algorithm generating profit. So like there's no real cost. So yeah, like that's very easy to make money on. Shorts in terms of like vertical content is more difficult, but you can absolutely still make money on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of intangible benefits that sometimes for us to get a guest on, we could show that we've had other guests similar. And then across all platforms, including short form, we've had 150 million views from this episode across all platforms, including shorts. It just looks really nice. A bit of a vanity number, but it does help show the seriousness.
Like our podcast with Mr. Beast did 500,000 views? Like it was a long time ago. It was not our best work, but it maybe did 500,000 views. On all of the shorts, all of the clips, all of the redistribution, it got probably 150 million.
Oh, wow.
And so when we send it to Mr. Beast's team, we say, hey, look, our last episode got this many views across all platforms. This is what we were able to do. And on top of that, other people clipped it up too, probably for an additional 50 million, 100 million views. So if you get them to sit down for 1 hour, you're leveraging maybe 250 million views of exposure. So like if you think about it from a more creative perspective, absolutely, there are so many intangible benefits alongside the financial ROI.
Insane. I never really thought about it from that perspective, like the intangible benefits behind clipping. But getting into like the tangible benefits, right? From a brand side, like obviously there's like KPIs that you look at, right? Measurable impact, right? Outside of just like clips contributing to like longer form viewership. For your end, like I know a lot of companies that I've seen on the direct to consumer market, right? Like, they have like sort of live, marketplaces and they go like live stream and stuff. Have you guys experimented with stuff like that in the past? Like, and also has it increased? Like, have you seen any incremental lift in revenue?
Oh, for sure. I'm a huge, fan of Ramp. So last year they did this, like live stream where it's Kevin from The Office doing receipts, right?
Yeah.
Just to show how much better their product is at that stuff. So I saw that and I was like, all right, let me get one guy. And we went to, like, I sell to e-commerce businesses. So we went to a 3PL on Black Friday and we were like, here's what a 3PL is. Did a tour. We packed boxes live and that was 3 hours of our time. Got so many clips out of that, but it also just like flooded us with signups. Like it's such a weird thing to do. Like why is a B2B SaaS company doing this? But it showed like how our product kind of fit into the ecosystem in a bigger picture in a very engaging way. I'm like so bullish on live now. What we're trying to do this summer, once we get the agent stuff out, is like go to businesses and like, hey, I'm going to go build like a website for you. You're going to go build like your first like sales page and film it all live. That's going to be like the source of our content. That's again to drive signups. I'm able to track how many people sign up. The people that come from our YouTube after they've consumed so much content, they tend to be better customers because they've been like fully educated. So like really bullish on live in general.
It goes like hand in hand with what Jack said, right? Like streaming right now, like for what you were saying, right? Is like, that's like everyone's doing it. Do you recommend like, I guess it's a question for the whole panel, like everyone should like, if you're a brand or like if you're trying to think about what to do with your marketing dollars, like should you invest in live streams? Should you invest in that infrastructure versus like putting it all into like a promo video and like putting it out online?
Yeah, I would say promo videos are mostly not it from what I've seen because it's way more expensive and the shotgun blast is the most effective technique to get views right now. You just need to have volume. So if you want to sink everything into one chance at getting a lot of views and conversions, by all means. But I just think like trying out a bunch of different things to see what's successful and then leaning more into that is just going to be objectively a more effective way of spending your marketing budget.
It's a shots on goal thing. You want to get as much distribution as possible. For me, I take a lot of the best clips that we do. Those are the ads, or that's like the body of the ad. Or if there's a hook that did really well on clip, that's what's going in the front of a lot of my ads. So it's like a testing engine, but as we've said before, like this is a volume game as much as possible right now.
So based off of kind of like what I'm hearing, right? It's like clipping right now is sort of like the prerequisite right now to being successful is what I'm hearing, right? Like the more volume that you have, the more clippable moments that you can get, and therefore the more shots on goal you can have, right? This is something that's really interesting. And I think like I want to kind of, like for the audience here, who's a mix of creators, companies, agencies, what is something that they can take home today, like back to their like drawing board and be like, we need to do this. Like, I know you guys mentioned a ton of different stuff, like something actionable that they can look back and be like, we need to do this immediately.
I mean, this is going to be the shameless plug here, but like just sign up for Opus and dump like your best videos that you already have and start posting them. Like really just get them out there. It's a shotgun thing. You got to get them out. But like Opus, like I've got a video editor full time. And before like he was manually cutting them, we probably get like 10 a week. And now we're able to do 10 in an hour, so it's like there's a ton of throughput there, but yeah, Opus makes it much easier. He's able to go pick exactly what we need to do and just get them out there. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, I'd say as many clips as possible and test that across platforms too, because sometimes it's so weird. We'll have one clip do really well on Instagram and we post it on the others and they get no views. And then others might do well on YouTube, but somehow bomb on the other ones. It's kind of random. So I recommend just posting as many clips as possible across as many platforms as possible. And sometimes just reposting this same clip with a different title for some reason, like a week later, it'll do well.
Yeah, I would say one thing to sort of top that off. If you're not doing clips, if this doesn't sell it, I don't know what does, because if you put yourself in the shoes of an average viewer on YouTube, they're paroling the home feed. They see a channel post a video with 15 subscribers. They have to look and judge based off the title and the thumbnail if they want to watch the video. There are so many obstacles of credibility, whether or not it's worth it to sink the 15 minutes, 2 hours if you're trying to grow a podcast into listening to this random person on the internet. The great thing about vertical content is you don't have the obstacle of coming up with a really good title, with a really good thumbnail. All you're responsible for is 25, 30, sometimes 15 seconds of content and a really strong hook. It removes all of these obstacles that you would otherwise hit and realistically not be very successful at if you have not found success yet. And it isolates it just down to the content itself. People scroll the shorts feed, they scroll any vertical feed, and all that matters is your hook strong? That's it. Nothing else. It makes it way easier to just start up from nothing. Because credibility is everything. If someone has 0 subscribers, the chances of a random person seeing, wow, nobody likes this guy, maybe I will. Like realistically, they would think, people aren't watching this person. I don't know if it's worth it.
We got to clip that. We have to clip that.
And I didn't mean that in a mean way. I'm just trying to be as objective and like try to provide as much honesty as possible.
No, it makes total sense, right? It's like, it's validity, right? And it's like, and I think like, nowadays, right? It's because of the content influx, you're seeing people spending, like they care more about where they put their time and energy into, right? And what actually takes away with their attention. And it makes a lot of sense as to why, like, you want to have like those like standards of like what it is, like, people are gravitating towards, right? Like, I'll watch Iced Coffee Hour because I know exactly what I'm getting, and like it's like the trust that I build with the creators and or company, right? Like having that flow. I think it makes a ton of sense. we talk a lot about these clips, right? And I know, like, you know, I don't want to bring it the other side, but what is the downside of the clipping economy, right? Like, everyone's clipping everything nowadays. Like, have you seen any sort of like things that are like, you know, that you would think as like the downside of this
all the time?
Say the Mr. Beast one. The Mr. Beast Sam and Colby one.
Yeah. So we had a podcast with Sam and Colby, and I thought it'd be fun to do a little prank on them. And so I told them when we just started filming, we sat down like, dude, did you see Mr. Beast sold his channel to Disney for $5 billion? And they're like, no. I was like, yeah, dude, you didn't see it. It like just happened. And they're like, no way. Like, yeah. And then Jack was playing along. They were playing along. And we dragged it on for like a minute. And then we said, just kidding. And they're like, oh, it was a good one. And we're like, and then we started the podcast. But they clipped it right before the just kidding. And they posted it. And it got millions of views on Twitter. And then Mr. Beast had to address it because so many people were running with this, like, Mr. Beast sold his channel to Disney for $5 billion. And it happens all the time. There are so many clips.
They remove the context of everything.
Completely.
Everything. So it's just whatever will get the most amount of views. You'll see a clip where the subtext or whatever captions they choose, it says like, check this out. On the iced coffee hour, Alex Hormozy said this. And you watch the clip and he doesn't say that at all. He says something completely different or exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
They can just say whatever they want in order to get the views. So like it just gets stuff taken out of context occasionally.
Yeah, we had one recently, the Sophie Rain one.
Yeah.
We did a podcast with Sophie Rain, a members video that they stole, and they did the caption like Sophie Rain realizes mid podcast that she was being scammed for like $30 million. It's something crazy like that. But she wasn't at all. And it wasn't in the clip. But it got like 5 million views. So it happens all the time. There's so many things taken out of context.
Was that on YouTube? Like,
It was on Twitter.
That was Twitter.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Twitter, man.
X.
Yeah, that's
X,
crazy.
X. What about you, man?
I don't have enough time and energy to clip as much as I want. I have no downsides right now. I don't have that issue. So I just want to do more. And it's really just, you know, quality in, quality out. I just don't have enough bandwidth to produce like high quality stuff enough. So yeah, probably like not the answer you're looking for there, but like, I just want to do more clipping.
Oh, good, man. Well, this is what we're about, man. And you know, I think like sort of what I'm taking back from like all these conversations, right? Of like getting into like the more content, right? Having more to clip, more to like distribute, right? Like this seems like this is the answer for kind of where we are right now in our digital age, right? It's clipping is the sole vehicle to a lot of like whether you're a company, whether you're a channel, the best possible way to reach the most amount of eyeballs at scale is clipping. And I think like if you guys are not clipping right now, obviously like they mentioned earlier, but like, you know, at OpusClip, right, we deliver a lot of tech that allows you to do that at scale. And the benefit of that, right, shameless plug, is that you can clip 24/7 using technology where you're not reliant upon people and trying to find clippers and trying to understand how this operates. So if you are interested in it, like my OpusClip people, put your hands up in the audience. I'm not sure where you guys are at. Talk to any of these guys and they can get you sorted. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for the time on this. This was so beneficial, and I'm sure you know the audiences can leave with something that they can take back home today. And you know, really appreciate the time, you guys. So thank you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for
listening.
listening. Appreciate it.